Welcome, everybody. Happy Team Tuesday. Ready to rock and roll. Okay, so today is Chiropractic Philosophy Day for CAs. I'm so excited for this one. If you felt like you knew a lot about chiropractic before, I am guaranteeing you're going to feel like you know even more about chiropractic after today's lesson. So as everyone's logging on and we're connecting it to our private Facebook group, today you guys each get to share and you each get an assignment to share. So I'm actually going to assign you with something that has to do with chiropractic philosophy, and you'll get to Google search it, find the definition, and then you're going to share with the group and actually teach this part of chiropractic to the group. Are you guys ready? Yes? Okay, beautiful. So Alyssa, are you with me? Give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Okay, great. You're going to Google search ADIO, caps, all caps, ADIO, chiropractic, and then share what it means and then a little bit about it as well, like why that's important to chiropractic. Okay, great. So I'm going to put Alyssa on that one. And then we are going to say whole body health. Are you with me? They're with us. Okay. So for whole body health, I'd love for you guys to, how many people are there with you today?
We have two.
Two. Okay. So I'd love for you guys to, for the 33 chiropractic principles, I want you to grab principle 13 and principle 29 through 30 and pick who's going to share which one, and you'll read it to the group and kind of share about the meeting. So principle 13 and principle 29 through 30, whole body.
Got it.
Nice, beautiful. And then let's see, Christine, let's have you share the chiropractic paradigm. The chiropractic paradigm. So look that one up, Christine. And share, and you can add anything to it. Like if you're like, oh, I already know all about this, my doctor talks about it all the time, you can embellish what you find online, but at the very least, read us the true definition. Who else? Miranda, did you get one? Miranda, okay. So Miranda is going to do subluxation. Miranda and Sierra, I would love for you to do innate intelligence. Did I give anyone innate intelligence yet? No. Okay. Sierra's innate intelligence. I lost track. So you guys are going to have to remember which one is yours. Okay. So, okay. If you have chiropractic paradigm, take yourself off mute and say me. Me. Okay. Innate intelligence. Take yourself off mute and say me. Sierra. Okay. Subluxation. Take yourself off mute. Say me.
Me.
Yay. Did we do? I'll do sacred trust. Did we do sacred trust? Does anyone have that? No. Okay. I'll do sacred trust. ADIO. Raise your hand or take yourself off mute. Perfect. Okay. Principle 13, 29, and 30.
That's us.
Whole body. Okay,
Us.
beautiful. Okay. Excellent. So I love chiropractic philosophy. To me, it's like the fun and cool part of philosophy. I mean, of chiropractic. And it's actually something that's taught. I teach a course to chiropractors about chiropractic philosophy. It's a continuing education course for them to keep their license active. So it's one of the things I get to do with like a lot of state associations is go in, teach a chiropractic philosophy course. And it's always one of those things where you see people shift in the room and they get so jazzed up and so inspired about chiropractic. So the part that's really important as CAs for us to know as CAs is belief versus fact with chiropractic. Belief versus fact. So write that down. A lot of people, and even like the general public, will perceive chiropractic as a belief system. even chiropractors will refer to it sometimes as belief, right? Like, I believe in chiropractic truth, right? I like to say it's not a religion. The nervous system is not a religion, it's fact. Okay. So, the way that your brain communicates with all the organs of the body is through the spinal cord, right? When interferences occur, subluxations, as we'll learn about today, it blocks nerve flow to vital organs at that level, right? And then disease grows in the body, sickness, organs fail, and eventually you die. So, in my opinion, because when people's organs fail, they die, right? This subluxation, the lack of a well aligned spine eventually leads to most death, demise, other than like accidental death. So if I kind of went through and thought of, all the different ways that people die and different diseases, and they often start with an organ not functioning the way that it should. So I'm not going to say every single way, but a lot of ways. So to bring optimal nerve flow to those organs, it's just fact that it works. It brings life force. So you don't need to believe anything. You don't need to muster up faith in the unknown, because this isn't the unknown, it's neurology, right? Chiropractors are high level neurologists. So there's no unknown here. You don't need to believe in it. You don't need to get people to buy into the message, right? Have you heard that? Like, oh, we got to get our patients to buy into the chiropractic message. There's nothing to buy into, right? This is simple fact, nerve chart. What you learned it in the 5th grade, right? So it's simple fact. Everybody knows it. We're just showing them like, oh, hey, remember this? Remember this? And it makes so much sense. It's super logical. My daughter learned how to give her first pre-consultation, which I have on film. It's on my Instagram. You got to dig back a little bit. But she learned to give her first pre-consultation at age 1.5 on the diaper changing table. I had a nerve chart over the diaper changing table. And I would always explain to her, like brain, spine, organs. And so one day she stood up and popped up, could barely talk. And she says, brain, spine, organs. That's it. Like, that's literally a 1.5-year-old, right? Could understand this concept. So remember that. Remember, you don't need to believe in chiropractic. It's fact. It's more fact than like a lot of science, right? A lot of science is a hypothesis. The way that our brain and nervous system works is fact, right? People have dissected cadavers. So I just wanted to share that with you because I remember being a CA, and when I was new, it was hard for me to try to have like chiropractic conviction. I was like, where do I get chiropractic conviction? I got to really believe in this, right? So that I can be authentic with my message. And then I realized like conviction comes from seeing the truth, right? Over and over again. Conviction comes from experience. So if I just believe the truth about the human body, right, the conviction will grow. So it's such an awesome shortcut, if you may, to doing that. Okay, so which one did I get to do? I'm going to start us off with the sacred trust. And this is really beautiful because it's the last words of BJ Palmer, who is the developer of chiropractic, and his very last letter. He was quite the poet, as you will see. His stuff is so, like, looking at his writings and the 33 principles, they're so powerful and inspirational just to life, right? Not even chiropractic. Like, you read one of these, you'll get all fired up. So here's one of the last things he ever said about chiropractic. It says, time always has and always will perpetuate those methods which better serve mankind. Chiropractic is no exception to the rule. My illustration, or my, I'm reading this word wrong. Father placed the truth in my keeping to keep it pure and unsoiled or defamed. I pass it on to you, unstained, to protect as he would have you do. As sorry, I'm like failing at reading out loud right now. As he passed on, so will I. We admonish you to keep this principle and the practice unadulterated and unmixed. Humanity needed then what he gives us. You need now what I give you. Out there in those great open spaces are multitudes seeking what you possess. The burdens are heavy, responsibilities are many, obligations are providential. But the satisfaction of traveling the populated highways and byways, relieving suffering and adding millions of years to lives and millions of to millions of suffering people will bring forth satisfaction and glories with greater blessings than you think. Time of this or time is of the essence, excuse me, time is of the essence. May God flow from above down his bounteous strength, courage, and understanding to carry on. And may your innate receive and act on the free flow of wisdom from above down, inside out. For you have in your possession a sacred trust. Guard it well, guard it with your life. So, what does this all mean? I apologize for the crappy reading. What does this all mean? What it's saying here is, hey, you have this gift of life, this thing that millions crave and are seeking. You have the answer here. Chiropractic is the answer to health and wholeness and what everybody's looking for. And it's so sacred and so important to keep it pure, not to mix it with other things. Keep it pure, just as chiropractic. It is the power. You don't need more than the adjustment. Sure, other things are helpful, but the adjustment itself is the purity, the healing power of removing interferences to vital organs. And he's saying, hey, this message is teeny, 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 tiny, and the world needs to hear about it. The burden is heavy. You have an obligation. Once you know the truth, you have an obligation to share it, right? Let's say the entire world was going through a drought and people where'd you guys go? Let's say the entire world was going through a drought and people were dying of thirst, literally dying. And then you found surrounding the earth, right? Or like you found flowing water, an abundance of water everywhere, enough to get everybody hydrated, give everybody water, everything that they needed. Would you be like, that's cool, right? Or would you feel like you had an obligation, everything within you needed to go share that water, get it out there? Once we know something, right, it becomes our obligation, right? It becomes our burden. A burden doesn't have to be a good word, a bad word. It could be a good burden, our burden to carry, right? And to get the message out. The same goes for patients, right? Like now that they know what they know, it's their responsibility to go spread the word, but we have to set the tone for that. We have to be able to talk to a patient and say, hey, now that I know what I know about chiropractic, I want this for everyone that I love. I can't help but talk about it to everyone I love. I can't help but make it my mission for everyone I encounter to get under chiropractic care. How about you? Now that you know what you know, who do you want to get in, right? So you're referring, you're bringing people in. You want more referrals, you refer, and the patients will learn because it's just exciting and it becomes the buzz in the office. You set the standard, you set the environment, the culture for referring, right? If you are a CA, you're referring, those people come in, your patients are meeting people that you brought in and they're telling each other, right? They're telling your patients, hey, guess what? Rita stopped me at the grocery store because she heard me complaining to the cashier about my back pain. Hey, guess what? My kid plays soccer with Miranda's son, and she saw me taking an ibuprofen and telling my friend I had a headache, and she stopped me. She took action, right? She cared enough. Chiropractic is about caring. It's just about real being a caring, loving human and caring enough, right? If I go to the bathroom, I step on toilet paper and I've got toilet paper hanging off my shoe, I want you to tell me. You know what I mean? Like, be a good human. Like, go stop the person, tell them, if their skirt's tucked up in their panties, like, we're just going to do it. We're just going to be a good person. Right? It's the same thing, but way more important, life or death, right? Like, just be a good person. Just do the right thing. Just tell people, tell everybody, make sure they all know, right? Be a little uncomfortable for a second. How often, who besides me has been like, I should probably tell them about chiropractic? And then you get all in your head and don't say anything. Anybody? Yeah, total BS, right? If that was you, would you want them to tell you? If you think of your chiropractic story, right, or someone in your family last week, the story that you shared, and yes, I didn't forget anyone that wants to share theirs that didn't can this week. Um, so if that was you, would you want someone to stop you? Would you want someone to take a moment, go the extra mile, and invite you into the chiropractic office, right? Would that be valuable to you? So let's do unto others as we would want them to do unto ourselves, right? Okay. So chiropractic philosophy, last words of the founder. You guys know those last words now and what he said. So it's important when you hear like the urgency in his message of like, this is your burden, your cross, Gary, you've got to get the message out. It's important to know the history of chiropractic. So, did you guys know that people were persecuted for performing chiropractic? People, it was illegal for many, many years. So, it was so important to help and heal people that people were willing to sneak and break the law and have chiropractic underground chiropractic places and sneak into people's houses. And these first chiropractors were super brave. Some were thrown in jail, right? And willing to do this. That's why probably it gets compared to a religion a lot, right? And a belief, because people were persecuted, right? For religion many times throughout history. And it was illegal many times throughout history. So similarly, so was chiropractic. People, these chiropractors, the foundation of chiropractic was built on chiropractors willing to sacrifice their life, risk their family's life to give an adjustment, right? Risk their family's life to give an adjustment. How strong was their chiropractic conviction? How much did they believe that adjustment was going to work and help that person, right? And then we're over here like, oh my God, are they going to pay their fee, the guy, we're like, oh, I don't know if they can afford it. Like, come on, guys, right? Come on, me. Like, we're gonna get hung up on this little stuff, right? When the core of what chiropractic is so much greater. Did you also know, if you've been in this group for a while, you do know, but those that are new, did you know the very first chiropractic adjustment that was administered, the reason that this whole study began was a man that could not hear. He gets adjusted, boom, right? His nervous system reacts, above, down, inside out, and he can hear. Isn't that incredible? So many stories. If you ever go to a chiropractic seminar, I want you to ask every chiropractor that you come across if they've been on a chiropractic mission trip. And if so, ask them to tell you a chiropractic miracle. So we've had one of our guest speakers we had on here a while ago, and you can go way back and get the rewatch. His name's Henry, and he heads chiropractic missions trips. So he has all the stories, all the goods, right? It is common in these third world countries. It is normal that people come in paralyzed, get put on the table, they get adjusted, and they get their abilities back, right? People come in with crippled arms, they get adjusted every day when the missionaries are down there, the chiropractic missionaries, right? Get adjusted, and that unwinds and they get their function back. It's common that people can't see well or even at all, or hear well or even all. They get adjusted, that comes back. So this is their normal. They call where the chiropractors meet, they call them the healers. People will wait in line for 2 days when the healers come into town, the chiropractors. People come from all the surrounding towns and they'll wait in line. They'll wait and they'll wait and they'll wait. They'll travel across the countries to come and get healing, get adjusted by these chiropractors, the healing doctors. So another cool thing to think about, if this interests you at all or gets you excited, is to go on a chiropractic missions trip. You don't have to be a chiropractor. It's helpful to bring one. So if you can rope your chiropractor into going, there's tons of other things that need to be done, right? Food needs to be prepared, the spaces need to be set up, babies need to be held while their mamas are getting adjusted. You get to work with kids a lot on chiropractic missions trips. So if it's something, Henry even has his is a chiropractic place slash birthing center. So women come to give birth. I'm actually a little embarrassed. I don't remember what country he's in. I think it's Haiti. But like a lot of women die in childbirth, so they'll go to his center and have their children there get adjusted during labor, and the babies get adjusted and things go really smoothly. So these are amazing experiences. At the very least, get in contact with a missionary. Build, if you want more chiropractic conviction, right? Immerse yourself in the stories, right? If people want, let's say you believe in God, right? And you want to have a deeper relationship with God, a deeper spiritual walk, is that going to happen just if you say it? Like, no, you got to go to church, you got to pray, you got to read your Bible. Like, you have to do all the things and actually actively work toward deepening your religion, deepening that experience, right? So anything that you want to be great at, anything you want to have conviction in, we've got to build it for ourselves so there's no room for anything else. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, cool. So let's rock and roll. Know that chiropractic is priceless, right? It's absolutely silly for us to be worried about if someone can afford it or not. They can't not afford it, is the truth, right? They can't not afford this. It's going to cost so much for them to not make this decision. So when we go into financial situations with that mindset, it's really going to help propel us on a very high level. So let's go ahead and start with Rita. Rita, will you read to us what your assignment? Are you still with us? The test. See, she doesn't have her camera on, so she's the first one I call on. Rita, which one are you doing? Did I give you one?
Hi, yeah, I'm with Whole Body Health Chiropractic,
Beautiful.
and you gave us the principles of chiropractic, so 13, 29, and 30.
Which one are you going to share? Or which two?
13.
Okay, awesome. Let's hear it.
The function
really
of
quick, before she shares, guys, I want you to be totally present, focused, close your eyes if you need to, soak this up, right? As if your life depended on it, the lives of those you know, everything that's shared today, I want you to soak it into your soul. Got it? Okay, go, Rita.
the function of matter. The function of matter is to express force. What else were we supposed to do? To share the
That's perfect. Yeah, just read the principle and then what that means, how you translate it, if you'd like to share. Or if you can just read
how I would translate that. Probably the energy that the chiropractor and everyone at the office gives off to every single person that walks through the door. It doesn't have to be physical, but it can also be emotional and just be genuine and give off good energy to everyone.
Very good. And that force, right? In the adjustment, the force. Awesome. Okay, whole body health.
Okay. 29 is interference with transmission of innate forces. There can be interference with the transmission of innate forces.
Mhm.
I would translate that to be about subluxations and just kind of like the block of the energy flow. And 30 is the causes of disease. Interference with the transmission of innate forces causes incoordination or disease.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Who believes that? Raise your hand. Who knows it as fact? Raise your hand. Who's beautiful. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so chiropractic paradigm. I think that's Christine. Share with us.
Yes, that's me. Let me go to the tab that I opened here. All right, so I thought I should define some terms. So the first term is chiropractic, a form of complementary medicine based on the diagnosis and manipulative treatment of misalignments of the joints, especially those of the spinal column, which are believed to cause other disorders by affecting the nerves, muscles, and organs. And then the definition of paradigm is a typical example or pattern of something, a model. So with those definitions, I went to the website chiro.org that has some information about the chiropractic paradigm.
Nice. Beautiful.
So let me see, here it is. Okay. So this is the Association of Chiropractic Colleges, and it says the ACC presidents describe the practice of chiropractic within the chiropractic paradigm to include establishing a diagnosis, secondly, facilitating neurological and biomechanical integrity through appropriate chiropractic case management, and 3, promoting health. So basically, it's just talking about the model of chiropractic and the foundation that chiropractic is practiced from.
Beautiful, beautiful, guys. Give her a hand. That was good. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Very good. Another one to add to it here, chiropractic paradigm. The practice of chiropractic focuses on the relationship between structure and function and how that relationship affects the preservation and restoration of health, right? Focuses on structure and function and how that relationship affects the preservation and restoration of health. That's like that one-liner we like to use of chiropractic adds life to your years and years to your life. Awesome. Thank you so much, Christina. That was amazing. Innate intelligence. Did we do that one already? No. Sierra? Sierra. Yes. Innate intelligence.
Okay, so the definition says the intelligence wired into you that governs every single act in your body. And how I would describe that to somebody is saying that it's a knowledge your body is naturally born with, and every living thing has innate intelligence, and it's how our body like runs and functions. And an example I would give would be like, our body doesn't need to learn how to create cells. It's just something that we're programmed and born with, and that is like an example of innate intelligence. Like we're born with that. We don't have to learn how to do it.
That's so good. So good. I believe it was Dr. House that first told me, like, if you get a cut, you don't have to tell your skin, like, heal, close up, continue to heal, close up, right? Like, it knows what to do. It creates more cells. It closes up itself and heals. So chiropractic initiates that in the body, right? It starts that. It's like, boom, heal. And then your body knows what to do. So the healing has this ripple effect. Like, I don't know if anyone here, I'm sure you all have at some point in your life, if not, I'm sure you will, experienced where the healing goes on. Like you get adjusted and you continue to heal for several minutes, hours, sometimes even days after. Like you'll start to see these things, like the spine's almost like an accordion, right? Where like you unwind part of the accordion and it goes down and you have more healing along the way. So this is why sometimes in some extreme cases where people are really sick, things can get worse before they get better, right? Where maybe they get adjusted and they have an ailment or something that gets worse as the healing is going in and working through that and pushing it out, right? You would see this a lot sometimes with like digestive stuff, right? If someone's just a easy example to understand, but this could happen with anything. It could happen with a headache, but if somebody is constipated, right? You get adjusted, it opens that everything up. It's gonna get worse before it gets better, right? Like a whole bunch of shit's gonna come out. You're gonna be running to the bathroom. It's gonna be a whole thing before you're better. It's not instant. So, I mean, as gross as that is, it's kind of a really good example if you ever have someone that does get worse before they get better. I mean, it's still important they let the doctor know and tell them, I'll let the doctor know, this can happen in some cases, where people, it gets worse before it gets better because what chiropractic does, it initiates the healing process of the body. So you need to filter out and purge, just like if a person was constipated, they get adjusted, things start flowing again. It's going to get a little worse before it gets better, So what a great, easy way to explain to them. Those of you that see kids in the office, you raise your hand if you see kids in your office. Yes, beautiful. You've probably seen this a lot. A lot of chiropractors have pretty funny stories of kids coming in, like constipated, and they get adjusted and like, boom, they go immediately. Because their body knows what to do. It's that innate intelligence, right? It knows how to heal, and the adjustment just nudges it and says, go for it, right? It takes away the blockage that's blocking it from healing so that it can open up, and innate intelligence takes over. Super good. Which is also why, now this could be more of a belief system on my end. I believe the chiropractor's state of being and mind affects the adjustment. So that's why, like, I always want to protect my chiropractor's state. Like, that's my highest priority, is protecting them from anyone or anything interrupting an adjustment. Like when they're at that table, no matter what, we're keeping that table sacred. Who's seen their chiropractor when they adjust, they kind of like go into a zone, like they're looking up, or like feel like they all have like a thing, right, that they do, like maybe they're looking off, and they can talk and multitask and stuff, but they're really tuned in to that innate as they do it. Oh, cool. Rita raised your hand. The tell signs. Very, very good. Subluxation. Miranda, share with us about subluxation.
It is a partial dislocation or a slight misalignment of the vertebrae, regarded in chiropractic theory as the cause of many health problems.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Slight dislocation even, or misalignment. That's huge, right? Of course there's going to be symptoms, right? Very cool. Thank you for sharing. It's important that all your patients know what a subluxation is, what a misalignment is. You guys have heard like the analogy of a garden hose, right? It's like putting a kink in the garden hose. The water's not going to get through. That's what happens when you have a subluxation. So wherever it is, if your subluxation is in your neck, the nerve flow won't get through to the organs at that level and below. First thing that's affected is your thyroid, your energy levels. Some people get headaches, maybe blurry vision, maybe numbness and tingling in their arms and their legs, right? This can all come from a cervical spine subluxation. So it's important for them to connect the dots, where just like a true chiro kid, right? If they experience a symptom in their body, they can be like, oh, my thoracic subluxated, I got to go to the chiropractor, right? We want that to be the mindset, right? They've got a little heartburn, high blood pressure. Oh, I need a thoracic adjustment. I'm subluxated. Low back pain. I'm subluxated. You'll hear this with chiropractors' kids. They'll do that. They'll be like, Dad, I'm subluxated. My head hurts. Will you adjust me? It's quite cute. A little dorky, but adorable. Okay, so Alyssa, will you share with us above, or ADIO? The hard chiropractor tattooed onto their hands. Yeah. Who has a chiropractor that has a tattooed on your hands? Anyone on their hands? Or they have a tattoo of this? ADIO. Has anyone seen the tattoo of this? I even know some CAs that got that tattooed on. Go for it, Alyssa.
ABIO is an acronym that stands for above, down, inside, out, which is how the body functions. The brain is the control center of the body, sending messages down the spinal cord and across the nerves to every organ, tissue, and cell. This control and coordination travels through the neurological system on the inside of the body to the outside through mental impulses.
Beautiful, beautiful. So really chiropractors are like brain doctors, right? They know a lot more about the nervous system and the brain than many, many doctors, right? General practitioners, because this is their area of study, right? Just like a dentist is going to just study teeth, teeth, the cardiologist, heart. The chiropractor in school, they study brain, nervous system, brain, nervous system, brain, nervous system. Their classes are not about bones. Like, sure, there's some, right? They learn a little bit about bones, but they're learning so much about the brain and nervous system. And I think people forget that. Like, this is the nervous system specialist. If you have a nervous system problem, you go to the brain and nervous system specialist, right? So being able to kind of integrate this philosophy, chiropractic philosophy, into your conversations with patients is huge. Who feels like, raise your hand, I'm gonna ask 3 questions. Raise your hand if you feel like you know more about chiropractic today than you did at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Beautiful. Who feels like you have more chiropractic conviction than you did at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time? Give me a heart if that's you. But a little more fired up, a little more conviction. Beautiful. Most of us. I love it. But thank you for the honesty too. And then who feels like your ability to communicate chiropractic truth, I'm not even going to say the message, right? Or the belief, chiropractic truth, who feels like your ability to communicate chiropractic truth, talk about it as an educated person, who feels like your ability to do that has increased? Thumbs up if that's you. Beautiful. Who feels like your willingness has increased? This is the most important one. Bonus question. Your willingness to communicate chiropractic truth has increased. Who's like, I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to take a step toward that by giving a thumbs up, right? Like, that's going to be my first step, is me saying yes to this, me saying yes to tick, right? Yes to chiropractic talk. Beautiful. Awesome. Everybody, look at both hands, rub them together. Rub, 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 rub. Chiropractor taught me this. Open it up like you're holding a ball and feel the energy and the heat through the hands. Try it again if you didn't get it the first time. You can actually feel like electric magnetic forces. Rub, 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 make heat like you're holding a ball, and you can kind of feel like a tingling going back and forth. Okay, now turn your hands towards you. See the lines in your hands? Lift them up high, lean forward. Give yourself a nice pat on the back. You just completed your chiropractic philosophy course. Very good. Okay, so I saved a little bit of time. Who did not share their chiropractic story last week and you came ready this week and you want to share it? Nice emoji, Rita. Who did not share and you want to share it? This is your chance. You know, set the timer for 20 seconds. Take yourself off mute and jump in if you're ready to share your chiropractic story. Take that first step in communicating chiropractic. This is an easy, safe space. Who did not share last week and you want to share this week? 10-second countdown. Take yourself off mute and say me. 10. Oh, look at the ones that didn't share, avoiding eye contact with the screen. Okay, fair enough. So then we're gonna end out today with your wins and your work-ons. So I'd like for each of you to write down your win of the week, even if it was this class, right? Even if it was in this course. What is your win of the week, whether that be like personal or in the office? What are you celebrating? Your win of the week. And then what is your work on? What's the thing that you want to work on most that you're committed to improving for the office this week? Your win and your work on. And before we hop off, because we've still got 15 minutes here, before we hop off, I think we'll still end a little early, but before we hop off, I want everybody to actually share your win and your work on. Win and work on. So I want to give you a moment. To complete this. Okay. Win on your work on. Give you a minute and a half to get those written down.
Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. Say it all sounds crazy.
Writing down win and work on.
Say I've lost. For the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I could buy. Smile on a rainy day. Say it all sounds easy.
Couple more seconds, your wins and work on. I love my new whiteboard. Okay. Raise your hand if you're done. Raise your hand if you need a couple more minutes. Okay, cool. We'll start with those who were finished. If you need a couple more minutes, keep writing. Also, put in the chat box if you would be interested in, I'm starting to kind of plan out next year and the rest of this year. And something we used to do a lot of was large chiropractic assistant events where we would actually all meet up at one location and do a big event with 30 teams and train together and learn from each other. Another thing that I do is I'll actually go into your office and run a customized training for you and your team and exactly what and exactly like the things you want to work on. So just put in the chat box if either of those things would interest you for the future, like group or private. Just put group or private if that's you. Very cool. I know some of you have experienced this. Certain offices, I would recommend the private over the group. I think would be a good idea. So if you feel like your office is very unique and has unique goals and things, it might be worth looking into a private. So this year, 2024, I have, I think, one, maybe two privates left. that you could still book for this year. Next year, we're starting to book as well. So if that's something you're like, I think later in the year we're going to want that, or next year, just make sure that you get that booked. Talk to your doctor, have them reach out to me, and we actually get that booked, get your date reserved so that you don't miss out. Because a lot of times what will happen is I go to events and I basically sell these events, right? And then my clients, those of you that are meeting every week, might come and say like, oh, hey, we want to do an immersion this month or next month. And then unfortunately, we're all sold out for a year. Like, oh, we got to book a year down the road. So now more than ever, because we do have some events coming up where we will sell out, is the time to contact your doctor, have them contact me if you want to book an event, even if it's like way down the road, like 6 months or a year, you can still do that. Okay. Second, I'm super thankful for all of you that shared today and were brave, read out loud, shared about chiropractic philosophy. I know that that's not only easy. Me personally, as you've all seen, I do not like reading out loud. I'll start to like stutter since I was a kid. Like you saw, like I have the worst time reading out loud, but I try to do it anyway. So thank you for making that comfortable. Let's go around the group now and share your win and also what you want to work on. And we're going to start with Miranda and then Alyssa, then Christine, then both ladies at Whole Body, and then Sierra. Okay, so Miranda, win and work on.
So my work on is going to be practicing like leaving the office at the office while I go on vacation. This is my first vacation since I think early high school. So
Whoa.
I need to be able to like disconnect for a little while.
Beautiful.
And not worry about them. And then my win, I guess, is also that I'm going on vacation.
Yay! Where are you going?
Texas.
Nice. Vacation. Beautiful. Congratulations. Very nice. Equally as important. And I know that you work for Dr. House, right? Okay, perfect. I know that he had reached out wanting a template for the post shift huddle. So I'm going to send that to him today. And there's a lot of stuff in there. I think it was you that wanted that. And then he reached out on your behalf about like leaving the office at the office. So you can use that same template, like when you leave on vacation, like roll through it on your own, you know, when you're driving or flying, to just leave the office there. Very cool. Alyssa.
Well, I'm still in training, so my win is feeling more confident.
Yes.
And my work on is I just started training on front desk things, so I'm working on that.
Beautiful. Work on. What specific front desk things do you feel like you need the most help with?
Not getting overwhelmed when a lot of patients come in at one time.
Yes, definitely. Overwhelmed. Beautiful. Okay. I'll make sure that either oh, it's a little late. I'll make sure the next time we meet, we'll do a couple little things for that specifically, like not getting overwhelmed when a lot of patients come in. Because I think we all have areas in our lives where we can get overwhelmed pretty quickly. Would you guys agree? Different for everyone. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Let's hear from Christine. Win and work on.
Yeah, so my work on is I'm going through some training on correcting a personal injury case where the diagnosis coding wasn't correct. It's a long story. Anyway, but I've got to get more training on the software, how to go back and correct something like that. So trying to learn, it's a learning curve to learn all that. But my win this week was after our talk last week, it just really inspired me to talk to all the patients and ask them what changes have you noticed in your health this week, or what changes have you noticed since you've been a practice member. And so hearing lots of great stories. So that was great. And we've actually had some people join as practice members this week as new patients came on. So that was exciting. I think it's related when you start talking about health, and then people who need what you're focused on come. So yeah, it was great.
It's 100% related.
Yeah.
So cool. And it's more fun too, right? Than asking like for referrals and like, who do you want to refer? Who do you want to meet? You haven't referred anyone yet. Like it's way more fun to just build inspiration for people, basically. And
Yeah.
then they're
Yeah.
positively motivated. That's so powerful. Keep it up. Don't stop.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah.
that you can keep getting those results. Thanks for sharing. Let's hear from Sierra. Uh-oh, you're on mute. If you guys see me looking down, it's because I like to take notes on these so I can implement.
I struggle every single time to get myself off mute. I always hit the wrong. Okay. My win is I wrote our office newsletter for June. And I got ahead of it. So normally I'm finishing it like right at the last second, but I got it written early this month.
Yeah.
And then my work on is making sure that Miranda here doesn't have a lot to come back to when she gets back from vacation. So just trying to keep everything organized the best I can so that she doesn't have a bunch to fix.
A loving team member. That's amazing. Who would like that level of support? Like, not going on vacation. I'm going to keep everything running smoothly and wonderfully. So you don't have to work extra hard when you get back. You can just go right back in. That's amazing. That's really touching. Thanks for sharing, Sierra. Whole body health, whichever one of you wants to pop in first. Let's hear your wins and your work-ons separately.
I'll go first. My win, well, our win is still most patients ever scheduled. These weeks just keep getting better and better. Her energy is very celebratory, so yeah. And the work on is being bold to our patients with our chiropractic conviction, but in a loving way. Bold but loving.
Yes, I love that. Bold but loving, like Christine here.
Yes.
But loving. Beautiful. Yay. Rita. Oh, sorry. Did you have something to add?
Oh, I was just gonna just talk it after her.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was her that said Okay, sorry about that. Rita, go for it. Your win and your work on.
Our win is that we just got a summer intern and she's been able to pick up on things around the office, so it's a huge help just having an extra set of hands. And then a work on is probably just teaching her more so that she can help out a little bit more in the office. But it's been her, well, last week was her first week, so it's her second week this week, and just getting her trained. That's
beautiful. Can you hear the strength of their team? Like they automatically correct themselves and say we for the wins, right? Isn't that so cool? Like just sharing the win, even if like you're the main person that trained the intern, like it's our win collectively because we're all working toward this. Super awesome. Thanks for sharing, ladies. And you also made me think of something. Okay, so they're in this position, they've gotten this summer intern. A lot of times, CAs will be like, we need help. I'm working the job through people. We need help. We need help. We need to hire. And then what I see happen so often is they hire, they get an intern, and it's like deers in the headlight of like, oh crap, my systems are not set up for this person to take things off my plate. I have to now like work twice as hard to train them. So a good practice as you are learning things in the office, whether you're brand new learning things like Alyssa and Christine, I know you guys are still learning some things and training on things. Think in the mindset of how can I systemize this and automate it to train it to someone else. So if somebody is showing you, here's how to book a new patient, or here's how you do this and that at the front desk, grab your phone, record it, save that recording to your desktop at the office, right? And save it as training video on how to blah, blah, blah. Then if you need help, you can, or you forget, you can rewatch it. But you also, when it comes time, whether it's months down the road, years of you training someone, or you get an intern this summer, you can be like, here's the video, watch it. Here's how you do it. So always think along those lines of how can I, when I'm doing what I'm doing now, without any extra work, set it up where future team members, future interns can just come in and take things off my plate versus it adding to my plate because I have to train a person. So if you do this just as you're doing it, eventually you'll have an entire training program, right? An entire video series for a new person. You'll have an entire to-do list, even Sierra with her newsletter, right? Her monthly newsletter, right? Whatever template or format or main thing she's looking for in it, she could record, 10 minutes or 90 seconds of her starting her newsletter. Like, here's how I do it. Here's how I post the newsletter. She can hit record on her computer as she does the back end of getting the newsletter from like a Word doc to actually out, right? Here's how I post it. Here's how I do it. I schedule it here. These little teeny things that really take no extra time because you're doing it anyways. And then later on, when the help is there, you have the system set up for it. So you don't just have this person like following you around. What do I do? What do I do? Who's been that person and knows like how uncomfortable it is. Yeah. So, so let's set it up better for the next one. Okay. You guys are amazing. Thanks for being here today. All your work-ons, I'm putting them in my notes for our next couple lessons to make sure that those are incorporated in. And congratulations on the amazing wins. I'll see you guys
Thank
soon.
you.
My pleasure.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.